since we started doing these videos, it's become kind of popular. Like everyone asks us to do more. So I actually went through the trouble of designing a logo for it, and we created a name. So as of now, it's officially the House of the Monkey podcast.
That's brilliant. 10 points.
That's racist, man.
Yeah. We're all monkeys. I was born in the year of the monkey, so.
You can
Nice.
everywhere these days, so whatever.
Sergio.
Okay, go ahead.
The guests. Tell us about the guests.
Oh, okay. We have Sensei Rokas from Martial Art Journey, former Aikido Sensei, and now MMA fighter, or future MMA fighters. And we have also Sakan Lam. Sakan Lam is in Thailand. He used to train Kung Fu, and now he has trained, if I am correct, Silat. And I know that he fought recently MMA, and he did very, very good. He had a very busy 2018 fighting MMA, and as far as I understand, you won the last championship. Is that correct, Sakan?
I got the silver medal. I got TKO'd in the final round, but whatever.
Okay. No, well, that's fine, man.
Works for me.
Just getting in a ring, my friend, it takes some courage. It's hard.
He's got some
cojones.
Cojones balls.
Sakan has some good. He has some good knockouts and other stuff he's already captured from his fights, like arm bars and stuff. So
nice. And he was recently they were talking about me on the Joe Rogan podcast as well, which is something good. So
they weren't talking about me. They kind of just happened upon me. So, but either way, it's exposure, and I'm grateful.
At least it's not a blooper. It wasn't a blooper, so it's all
yeah,
good.
Exactly. It wasn't like highlights of me getting my ass kicked.
Okay, I have suggested talk about bad students, quote unquote. Not that people are bad, just how a student will not follow, let's say, the instructor ideas or program, and that will end up in the long run giving issues to the same student. I mean, it wouldn't work for him. Have you ever had one of those?
For sure.
Okay.
I had a bunch, yeah.
Go ahead. You first, Rokas.
Well, let's start with the fact that I taught Aikido. I did it professionally for 7 years, had a lot of students, and obviously, like at least 20% of the students, 10 to 20% of students would be what you're describing, like really bad cases of that. First of all, those students, in my experience, they did not like feedback. They didn't want to be criticized. I would come in, and I would see them shrink, and kind of they wouldn't want to hear anything bad about them. And initially I thought, it's like, I won't say anything because they don't want to hear it. And then I realized it sucks because in my experience, they would become what I would call monsters, because since I would say nothing to them, they would come to a conclusion that they're the best, that they're really good because I'm not saying it. The thing is, in Aikido, it's very easy to do because there's no pressure testing. So you're not going to get punched in the face. You're not going to get tapped out. So it's very easy to live in your head in this illusion that you're the best. And if I would not say anything to them, that's what would happen. Or even some of them, like I would say something and they would just kind of look away at that time, at that moment. And the worst thing is they kind of destroy themselves. It didn't help them. But they're bad. So I definitely experienced that.
I want to say something regarding what you just said now is that since they didn't get punched in the face, they wouldn't realize if they're doing something wrong. This is how I got my humility. Each time I think I'm really good, I get punched or kicked in the face a few times. I realize, like, holy shit, I'm not as good as I thought.
Right. It's very healthy, huh? Good thing.
Yeah.
And I have a question about, do you know if any of those students did ever got like robbed on the street, or they tried to fight and they got hurt? You have any idea, any particular like small story that you could tell, if you remember, of course?
These guys specifically, they never shared any of their stories. I think they're not the guys who would share that they got their ass kicked, but I don't know. It's not something that would happen. I had some students who were able to use the Aikido that I taught for self-defense, surprisingly, but not like in major cases. But these guys, no, I guess they're lucky or something, but also oftentimes they would be, and this is what I would see in BJJ too, and I talked about that, like big guys, big, strong guys, they would have trouble apparently learning jiu-jitsu because they could use force, and they would be like, ah, fuck technique. Can I swear here? Is okay swearing?
Yeah. That's the idea.
Okay, good. So it's like, fuck those techniques. Thank you. I love swearing. Anyway, so again, fuck those techniques. And I can do this by force. It's like, why do I need these techniques? And I talked to some jiu-jitsu black belts here, like world level competitors, and they specifically said those people are, like, one apparently took 8 years to get to blue belt because he had that issue.
So we can say that when somebody's like really, really strong physically, that equals ego as well. And it translates to ego.
Actually, that what you just said, actually, I've noticed that the best fighters are usually the ones that have a smaller frame or that start out weaker. Like, the best kickboxer in history, to me at least, is Michael Zambidis. He's my size. Yeah. He's a midget. But this tiny guy has such power and technique. He like knocks everyone out. Like, the bigger guys just rely on mass, just brute force, generally.
He will have technique. Well, Sakan, your turn, brother.
It's the only person. Hey, Sakan is the only guy with no accent here, so.
I think I have to make up an accent. How about I do like a Filipino accent?
Yeah, do that.
Okay, brothers, I come from the Philippines, and oh man, I'm gonna get so much hate. Better stop. All right, bad students. So I'm a young instructor, so I haven't had. I've only been teaching full time for about 3 years. So I guess whatever bad student that comes in, they're gone after a while. It's like they're not going to stay for a long time, continue the teaching, continue whatever lessons I have for them. So like the bad students I usually have are usually like the old fellas, like the old tough guys that like have been through like street fights and stuff like that. So it's the problem is when I'm teaching in class, you'll see it in their body language. They'll like cover their mouth and they're like, they got something negative to say, or like they don't trust the technique or they don't trust what I'm trying to teach them. So that kind of pisses me off. It's like I've studied some body language before, and if you have this sort of closed off body language, they say it's like you're 30% less likely to take in what you're being taught. So anyway.
So they are not receptive. And
they're not receptive. And when I do ask questions, they just sort of like, they don't ask a question. They just, you can see they want to say something, but they're not maybe out of respect. But when it comes to drilling and stuff like that, they just don't get it. Or they're just like, oh, I completely lost it. I have no idea what I'm doing. Like, yeah, because you're not really paying attention, dude. You're not open to it. So I get it. You gotta be skeptical. You gotta be, you have to test stuff out, but you gotta try it first and see if it works.
Yeah, I agree. I've had. No, sorry. No, it's just that you reminded me of like similar situations. Like, I haven't been teaching here in Argentina, but I did teach in Korea, and before I left to Korea, I also taught here. But yeah, the problem I would have sometimes is with these guys, it's okay to question, but when they would question absolutely everything and drive you crazy, like, but not questioning with like curiosity, it's more like defiance, like they defy you. You know what I mean, right? I just want to make you smack them in the face or something.
Right. That's a matter of character. Like if they're challenging your character rather than, the issue at hand, that's a problem, man. That's a huge problem in class.
I have a small story to tell. It's something about recently that happened. I have this friend. I don't consider him a student. And he had a fight. He was going to fight somebody who was almost 7 feet tall. He's 6 foot. So we're talking about somebody who has a foot in reach more than you have. And this person was already coming from a positive winning streak. So this person had already 2 wins. And everybody saw the fights and say, yeah, he's not very technical, but he can take a punch. It's hard to hit him. And he hits you very hard. It doesn't matter. It doesn't look pretty, but he hits you very hard. So when me and Robin, the other coach, were designing a plan, training plan for him for his fight, we told him specifically not to get in clinch with that guy, because that guy in all the fights will mouth the other people with the knees. Non-stop, relentless aggression, will not stop until he sees you on the ground. It doesn't matter if you're hitting the guy, he will not stop. If he gets a hold of you, he will not stop. And all that this guy will tell us was, no, I have better knees. And we will explain to him, no, you don't. And even if you have, this guy has a larger reach. Your knee range, and you guys know you guys are fighters. There is a long range, a middle range, and a short range. So the middle range is usually where knees and elbow happen, right? Elbow strikes. But for the tall guy, the near range was your kicking range. So I was telling him, do not get close to him. Unfortunately, for that particular guy, you have to fight in and out, in and out. You cannot even get in the pocket, which is usually a good strategy. Shorter guys could use against taller guys. But in that case, that guy will desperate clinch on you and will hit you with the knees nonstop. So this guy gets into the fight, and the first thing he does is try to clinch the guy. Like, we train so many strategies and so many things.
I saw that fight. It was just non-stop clinching. Like the whole thing was just clinching.
But he will actually go to get to the guy's knees. And we were after
what was it? 1 round or 2 rounds? I just remember nothing other than clinching. It was really boring.
3 rounds.
It was just they're hugging each other nonstop.
We had a joke. We were saying, we told you to kick the guy with a low kick, but you saw him so pretty that you decided to hug him. So the idea is sometimes you do have to follow your instructor, sensei, coach advices, because in the long run it's going to benefit you. They're going to be seeing something that you as a student will not see. So to every fighter out there, if you don't agree with your coaches, don't make them waste their time. Just tell them straight up, I don't agree. I'm going to do whatever I want to do. And maybe just training that what you want to do in that fight, but don't waste your time training strategies that you're not going to use and you do not agree with, because at the end you're going to be the one losing the fight. And honestly, this really sad me. I haven't trained many fighters, but I have at least trained like 10 fighters. I never had a student lose a fight. I never had.
You know something? It's different when you get someone from the very fresh start. Like, you teach them from the beginning, they will listen to you more. You mold them. You know, that friend of yours, he came from another teacher, right? So he's already got like his ideas and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a good point. I remember a friend of mine, he taught me shooting. And one of the things he said to me, that a husband should never teach a wife to shoot, because there's essential rules that you need to, like safety rules that you need to follow. And if the husband is teaching, the wife will kind of block part of it because there's familiarity. Or like, if you know the person too much, you won't listen to him enough. And I think that's like, if you train somebody, you know, like a friend or like I had some of my students were some Aikido black belts who would come train and learn from me because my style was different and they liked it. But at the same time, they were never really learning exactly what I taught. They only like learned a part of it because they had their own game and we were kind of also friends. So yeah, it's I think it's something that definitely happened.
Can I ask a question about Aikido? I know it's not with the podcast, but I have a question about Aikido.
Yeah, you can always cut it out if it sucks.
No. Yeah, true.
I always edit the video on either of us picking their nose or something, so it's okay.
Thank you. I can take your nose. Awesome.
Rokas, now that you're are you ready to start training the kickboxing side or not yet?
Kicking, I've been to a seminar which was here like by a very high level kickboxer or Muay Thai guy. But kicking, we didn't do much kicking yet. It was mostly boxing, wrestling, and jiu-jitsu.
Okay. Well, maybe you cannot answer this, but let me ask you: does Aikido has actually a strategy how to defend against like the tie roundhouse kick to the legs? I mean, on the system, does it have a defense? Because I know more or less Aikido can defend against a haymaker, maybe against a straight punch, maybe against a clinch. It does have it, but does it have defense against that?
Right. It's as many questions in Aikido. That's a controversial one, but there is a site I can share. So if you type in like Aikido versus kicks on YouTube, you will see a bunch of techniques like Lenny Sly shows, I think, a few of them, like especially from a straight kick. But oftentimes Aikido goes against straight kicks, straight punch, and that's what Aikido is oftentimes about. So you just stand to the side, enter, and Aikido is a lot about entering. If it's a roundhouse kick, like if it's high, if the leg's going high, again you enter and you then kind of block, which kind of makes sense, and then you do a technique. And some Aikido show that. If it's a low kick, that's trouble for Aikido. Most of the times it's just step out, step in, which I'm not sure.
Like footwork, right?
Yeah, right. That more like that. But the thing is, in my experience, mostly it's just YouTube stuff. Like in my experience, most of those techniques are designed to film and to show. I'm sure Lenny Sly does that, maybe Tenshin Aikido, Steven Seagal style. I think they include kicks in their curriculum. But most of the styles I did, they would barely ever teach anything about kicks. You just have to go on YouTube, check them out, try them out. So it was more for show. It's definitely not a big part of the regular curriculum. Like Aikikai, or in any exam system that I checked, never saw kicks in.
Okay.
Sakan is going to fall asleep.
Sakan.
Yo.
Yeah.
Any ideas, any topic that you would like to mention, please?
By the way, we were speaking.
I had a question for you.
Go ahead. No, you ask first.
Sure. I had a question regarding the guy you coached, the guy that lost. Is he your age or is he younger than you?
Oh, super young, like 13 years younger. He's 21.
Okay, and the guys that you've coached before, are they same age or younger?
I had students that were like 10, 12, and another one that was my same age at that time. We were both 18. Then Robin and Juan, they were a year younger than me, which I'm 34. So, it varies.
Yeah, what I'm trying to get at is like the coaching dynamic, right? So I've seen like some of the best coaches is always that like father kind of figure going on, or the big brother kind of thing going on.
I see.
I've actually had students who were much older, like on their 50s or late 40s. I had to try a different approach with them.
Right.
Especially like, skill stuff like kicking and all that. Just teaching their bodies how to move different at their age. But they could do it. After a few months, they could do like really good stuff. But you need to change your approach completely for someone past their 40s.
Right.
I see.
Right.
Okay.
By the way, you were asking Rokas about the kickboxing. Yeah, I restarted taking kickboxing today, so I'll upload some videos of me getting my ass kicked sometime.
Ooh,
I got punched in the eye.
Training, man. I was sick.
There's no black eye, fortunately, but I got punched in the eye. Rokas, by the way, how old are you?
29.
You're
not too young, not too old.
Me and Sergio are the oldest ones here. Old people. I'm 38. I'm an old man.
You don't look like it. That's good. That's good. You look younger.
I don't smoke that way.
There's I didn't catch the name of our latest guest. Can I hear that again?
Sakan.
Sakan?
Sakan,
right?
yeah.
Sakan. Sakan?
That's right.
Okay. So you asked that question to Sergio, but you didn't say your opinion. I'm very curious why you asked them. What's your opinion?
Oh, no, because it's just from what I've observed, like some of the best coaches, they take on this father figure role.
Okay, got it. Sorry. Yeah,
and like, I guess it gives them the right to like yell at them and scream and like, talk shit, and slap them around. It works. So I see it works, They have to have some sort of like really deep connection.
Yeah, my karate teacher, but this is a Kyokushin thing. They like to do it like this. He would have like the bamboo stick, and he would beat us while we were doing push-ups, and I could hear him. He didn't do it to me, but to the other students, the Korean ones. He would tell them in Korean, "Hurry up, you son of a bitch!" Like do it like this. It was hilarious.
My first Taekwondo teacher did that too, man. Like, what the hell? In the States. That's ballsy.
You know how they would punish us in Cuba when I was training karate? Just go and do some horse stance. You will spend the whole class in horse stance.
Oh yeah, we did that a lot too. Yeah.
Next day you won't be able to walk. Trust me.
But this wasn't punishment because we didn't behave good. It was just part of the training. Honestly, I think you didn't understand what I meant. This was how he motivated us.
Any other question, guys? Oh, Sakan. So what martial art has you trained? So you did Shaolin Kung Fu. And
yep.
I'm confused. Was Kali and Silat, or what was the second one?
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff. So I started with Shaolin Kung Fu, and then I moved to Thailand when I was like 22, 23. Mm-hmm. And in the meantime, I just did Muay Thai just for fun, like probably every other weekend when I had the chance. And then I got into this like knife situation, I would say, in Pattaya. If you've ever been to Thailand, Pattaya is like, it's like Las Vegas. It's like Sin City.
Okay.
Times 2. It's so dirty and it's so like sleazy. And if you're going to get in a fight, it's in Pattaya. Right? So give you an idea. So anyway, I was with my friends and family, and like we got knives pulled out on us. They weren't drawn out of the sheath, but it's like it could have been really violent. Luckily, like I was able to diffuse the situation. But in that moment, I was like, Muay Thai would have failed me. Like Kung Fu would have failed me. Like I would have died. I would have got killed if I didn't talk my way out. So after that, I was like, I got to study some real stuff. So of course, I wanted to look at knife fighting, and like Kali was the one. It was like what impressed me the most. So I contacted my teacher who was teaching in Chiang Mai, and I also wanted to learn MMA. And and it turns out he taught grappling and what do you call it, Kali. So I met him for a month, and turns out he was certified under Guru Dan in Asano, which is a kind of they have JKD, Kali, Silat, Muay Thai. They got everything. They do everything. They're not masters of one single subject, but they just do a whole array of different stuff, which I like. That's like if you have like ADD in the martial arts, then that would be perfect for you.
Do you feel more comfortable using grappling or stand-up fighting?
To be honest, I feel like I'm quite slow. Like there's some people that are like explosive and fast, like that knockout power. I feel like I don't have that. So like for me, I think grappling mixed with a little bit of striking was perfect.
What about you, Rokas? So far, what do you feel most comfortable with, and what's most difficult?
Sure. Well, after Aikido, or even during Aikido, I trained some BJJ. Then I mainly did BJJ outside of Aikido. So grappling, I'm not that good at it. I mean, I miss a lot of basics.
But Aikido is a grappling art. So
that's the funny part. Technically it is, but we don't train with pressure. So there's no timing, there's no resistance. And when you want to apply the techniques you learned with a compliant partner, the grappling techniques per se, or wrist locks, it's just so different. And I know I'm not the only Aikidoka who struggled with it. Like, Roy Dean, who's he's third degree BJJ black belt now, but he was an Aikido black belt. And when he transitioned, I talked to him in detail, when he transitioned to, and he was Japanese Jiu-Jitsu black belt, Judo black belt, and Aikido black belt. And when he rolled for the first time, Jiu-Jitsu, like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, against a not really good practitioner, he could not apply anything. So it's not my thing. But yeah, for sure, that's the thing. So it's universal. Aikido compliant training does not prepare you for resistance. And that was definitely my case. So I was told I have a friend who's a second degree Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, fourth degree Aikido black belt. And he told me that he actually designed a curriculum of Aikido wrist locks in BJJ. But But he told me specifically that until you get up to like at least a blue belt, until you master the basics of jiu-jitsu, it just doesn't come in. Just you have to first learn to have a good position, good posture, and only then you'll start seeing how your Aikido game comes in. And that's totally my experience. Like I did do a wrist lock, wrist takedown in one competition. I caught a few people with it while rolling, but at the same time, I'm not allowed to do wrist locks because I'm a white belt. You can do wrist locks only when you're blue belt.
I saw that one. That was sick. That was a sick move.
Thank you. Well, I didn't.
You will find an opportunity to use those skills eventually.
Right. I think so too. And like it helps. Like I have body awareness, like coordination. I pick up things I think quickly. Like if somebody shows me something, I learned for Aikido to replicate movements and just to feel where my body is. So that's there. But you have to learn the basics. There's just like you don't create basics. You learn it. And I'm still just gathering information.
By the way, sorry, I have to say something.
Yeah,
we have 8 minutes left for recording.
Okay.
This only allows you to record
45 minutes, right? I'm about to begin.
Right.
Okay, that's good. And what about you, Santiago? Are you a striker or are you a grappler?
I practice mostly striking. I did learn some grappling. I practiced a little bit of judo and some kudo. When I was in Korea, the dojo where I learned Kyokushin, there was a guy teaching kudo, but he was only in that city for 5 months.
Oh yeah,
never heard of that.
Kudo is the shit, man.
Yeah. It's actually it's my favorite style. But the guy was only there for about 5 months, and then he went to another city, so I couldn't get in depth into that. But it was really fun. It was really fun.
Did he show you how to headbutt?
No, but there were. They actually had a couple of tournaments, and I was still a white belt. I didn't go in there, but that guy I trained with, he used to headbutt everyone, but he was enormous. I have some videos training with that guy. He's massive.
Nice. Yeah.
But they have elbows, they have headbutts, they have everything.
Yeah.
My last full contact jiu-jitsu tournament, man, like the I got hit with the hardest punch I've ever been hit in my life.
Yeah, I saw that.
And it was the karate pull and punch, man. I was like, that's what it's for. He grabbed me by the knee and just like, blammo.
Like, one of the functions.
KO'd, man.
One of the functions of the opposing hand is for grabbing the clothes of your opponent and dragging him towards you. It also creates, by using both limbs at the same time, it creates more force than just using, even if you don't grab his clothes. The opposite force to the other arm creates more energy.
Right.
Yeah, man. After I get hit with that, every exchange, I was like panic mode. I was like, oh my God, what's going to happen next? Yeah, so now I know the next competition, I'm just going to grab the knee and punch the shit out of him.
Nice.
Sergio, you're a striker more than... I didn't finish saying I prefer striking because my grappling is... I'm good for defending against grapplers, but I'm not a good grappler myself. So I only hug the guy and don't let him do anything to me. That's it.
All right, so your class is anti-grappler.
Yeah, exactly.
My class is what?
If we spar, I will not let you grab me. I'll just run around.
Well, I'm kind of lie about that a little bit, and I will tell it here because I'm pretty sure not everybody watches the whole videos on YouTube, so most likely they will not find. Usually, even when I fight, I usually go orthodox, but I'm really a southpaw, so I'm lefty. So, but usually when you see me, so I only switch when I see that shit's going down, that I'm gonna get beat up. It's when I switch to southpaw. I have more.
Dragon Ball Z, like they would have Super Saiyan powers. Hopefully, you guys know. It's like they would be like you'd be losing, power. Right? And it's like, this is my true power. So that's kind of Sergio.
Well, and then it comes the other small bomb. I think Santiago knows I'm a black belt in judo, and I trained most of my time in Neguaza, so it was ground fighting. But when I went to MMA to train in American top team, remember I used to train with Joel Romero. He was an Olympian in wrestling. So I spent most of my time with Joel Romero and Alexis Villa doing rolling, and also doing a lot of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu techniques, to the point that like a month ago, I was in my friend's school, and I invited a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt to train with me. And I tapped him. Like, it was fast. I know it was a lucky shot. And he asked me after we finished, what belt have you right now in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? So I go in and tell him. At this very moment, he said, yeah. I told him transparent belt, because I haven't done officially any BJJ. But he was impressed, to the point that he told me that I think they can honor you, like the belts, the belt that you more or less have according to your skill level, if you roll with a BJJ black belt. And he said that I was, I think a purple belt, which is the first one.
No, that's second. That's high.
Well, I think it was purple, but I don't know any of the names. I just know how to do the techniques, but I only use it when I'm desperate. Now, the funny part is, I did some MMA sparring 2 days ago, and I will post it, and I haven't done rolling since that day, and I suck. You guys are gonna see it. I suck. It is so bad that I had the guy in a guillotine choke, and I couldn't tap because, well, I had 16 ounce in boxing gloves, which doesn't allow you to do the whole pulling. But I only use grappling if I see that things are going bad for me, and I'm really good at getting your back. Usually that's what I do fast. I guess because I train Bagua, and Bagua, the walking circle is all the time you're trying to get the back of your opponent. And I train the rear neck choke, what you call Mataleon, like to do it. I usually get your back really, really fast. Like I have one or two good BJJ techniques
If I learn a grappling art, I would like to learn Sambo, actually. I know everyone likes BJJ, but I like Sambo.
It's kind of more warlike, isn't it?
Anyway, guys, I have to go.
Yeah, we only have 2 minutes
We're
left.
out of time. Exactly.
Hey, it was really nice having you guys. Let's do it more often.
Yeah, it was a pleasure.
Inviting us. Yeah. Nice to meet you, Rokas.
Yeah,
Watch
your
videos, actually. Yeah. So
thank you. Do you have a channel? Are you running
that? I do.
Rokas was kind of famous for a while on YouTube. Now everyone knows him. I'm surprised you don't know him.
Oh, and I was like, Rokas, and then I saw his face, and I was like, oh, the martial arts journey.
That guy.
Yeah. The Aikido guy.
Nice.
Sweet.
Yeah, I do have a channel, Rokas. You can check my channel out, Sakan Lam, just my name.
Your name. Got it. I'm gonna subscribe.
Santiago, by the way, thank you, Santiago, for the interview.
Oh, it was
really, really nice gesture.
Yeah. It was fun, and I think you deserve both of you deserve more people to know about you and your journey.
For sure.
The four of us deserve more.
Yeah, I got it. So episode 1 was Sergio, and then episode 2 was Spicy Mike. And
Icy Mike, yeah, that guy is hilarious. Yeah. He's gonna be on this podcast one of these days too. He's a funny guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, we should cut it before this cuts itself out. But thank you guys. Let's do it.
Okay, thank you.
Pleasure.
You guys have a good evening. And,
Same for you. Thanks.
Yeah, peace out.
Bye.
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 Yeah.